All right. Well, good morning, everyone. We do appreciate you for jumping on today's call. And I'm Rick Nixon with the NCAA, and greetings and welcome to today's Women's Final Four head coach media availability. For the next 30 minutes, we'll have an opportunity to visit with the head coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks, Dawn Staley, the defending national champions. South Carolina is appearing in its fifth Women's Final Four in 2023. The 36-0 Gamecocks are seeking a third national championship. With that, I'll invite Coach Staley, if you would have an opening statement. I do invite the media to raise your hands, and we'll take care of your questions in the order as received. And Coach Staley, if you would, please. Thank you.
I just want to say congratulations to all the Final Four coaches and programs. I'm sure we're gonna put on a great couple of games this weekend that hopefully will end in somebody hoisting that national championship trophy and making it a proud moment in memory.
Thanks so much. We'll go to our first question from Amanda Krasowicz.
Hey, Coach. So I think the last time two SEC teams were in the Final Four was like 2017. I was wondering if you could just, talk about the way that the conference has prepared you this year. And, because people think of the SEC as a football conference, right? But it's clearly a women's basketball conference too. So, what do you think about that?
Some people think the basketball is football. The reason why I came to the SEC 15 years ago was because I wanted to win a national championship, and I just thought that the league itself, how competitive it is, the coaches that are in the league, how much you're going to be forced to get better. You're gonna be forced to pivot, forced to figure things out, and I mean it holds true. To have two SEC teams in over the past 6 years in the Final Four, it means that we're doing something right. We are hiring the right people to ensure that these types of things can happen. And obviously we're recruiting the right people as well, because we can't be here without, the sacrifices of our student athletes.
Thanks for the question. We'll next go to Jeremiah Holloway.
Dawn, I know obviously, this team's been to the Final Four before, but I guess after, winning yesterday, the excitement that goes into that, what is the, coming down, if you will, process kind of look like for, shifting gears and focusing on Iowa?
Right now the focus was just trying to get home and do some laundry and pack and get ourselves, ready to get on this flight. I'm sure on the flight, our staff will probably sit down and talk about how we prepare to try to win a game against an incredibly talented and exciting Iowa team. So, that's the short end of it. We haven't really had time to discuss anything as far as preparation, because the turnaround is so short.
Thanks for the question. Next, we'll go to David Teal.
Dawn, as an event, how have you seen the Final Four evolve from 1990 in Knoxville, Tennessee with UVA to now in the early 2020s as a head coach?
Well, there's rest time. There's a day in between. When I was playing, it was back to back. You played on Saturday and then Sunday. So I think the demand for us having some rest time in between, meaning the game has progressed to that. We're not trying to get our tournament championship in and out. We are spreading it out. I think, we're utilizing the time and space in between to market the product that is the best of the best. This is the third weekend of the NCAA tournament, and it's an incredible time and experience for all that are involved, and and then especially the fans. So it's grown, We have sold out Final Fours, and really sold out. I mean, sometimes we've said they were sold out when they weren't sold out, but there's not an open seat in any arena that I've been particularly a part of as a coach and playing in the Final Four. So the product is so much better, top to bottom. We got Virginia Tech, who's never been to a Final Four, that they played their way right into it, and they deserve the #1 seed, and they're showing everybody why. You look at LSU. I mean, Kim Mulkey, this is her second year there. She got her team into the Final Four. I mean, that's something to be said. Caitlin Clark, this is what she's wanted since she went to Iowa. I mean, she got her team to the Final Four. It is not the. I mean, there are just newer teams that are finding themselves in this position, and it's just great for our game. When years ago it was always the same team, and maybe there was one team that maybe surprised someone by being in the Final Four that wasn't like the traditionally rich program. So it's just the game has grown so much that really anybody, like any program can make it to the Final Four because of the parity of our game.
David, thanks for the question. Leah, go next to you.
Sorry about
Go
that.
ahead. Go ahead.
Can you
Leah.
hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Kind of going off that a little bit, Coach, you talk about the parity. Is there any reason in particular that we're seeing that now in this year? Like, what is it about this season that's kind of given way to that parity?
Well, I think the transfer portal has allowed programs to grow, instantly. Especially if you got a coach that really has an understanding of how to move young people. Like you have to have a culture that allows to allow some restrictions, so to speak, and then some freedom. And you have to balance that, because you're bringing in different pieces to your program that can make the huge jump, like an Angel Reese to LSU, and also just someone like Kiara Fletcher. She, her numbers aren't, for our program, her numbers aren't off the charts, but her demeanor, her poise, she is what we've needed in order for our younger point guard, Raven Johnson, to grow. And it was seamless because of, because we did our due diligence, and we wanted to make sure that we brought somebody in here that would not culturally infiltrate what we have going on. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. I know probably all the coaches don't like, the fact that the portal gets so full so quickly, throughout the season. But you also afford yourself to just find someone that can instantly turn your program around. So it's something that us coaches have to deal with, and it's a part of the fabric of our game now. And if you utilize it to, the right way, I mean, you can make the jump and be a part of Final Four teams.
Thanks for the question. Next, we'll go to Christina Walker.
Thank you. Good morning, Coach Staley. I'm Christina Walker from Christina Girl Hoops TV. And I don't know if you expected it, predicted, or thought about it prior to the season starting, but you're currently coaching an undefeated basketball team. And when I see you on the sidelines, aside from your team's probably not doing what you asked them to do, you seem very calm, cool, and collected. So I want to know, you as a coach, do you feel any pressure, any pressure as far as, coaching this team, leading this team into the Final Four and potentially a championship?
Of course, I feel pressure, pressure for our team to be successful, pressure to have our team perform as they perform all season long, pressure as a black coach to win, like to win. And then, you know, just the pressures that come with being the number one team and being the number one overall seed. You don't think it impacts you, but it does. It's not the driving force though. It's not the very thing that I say I feel this pressure. We have. No, I don't feel it in that way. I feel it in that I don't want to let whoever's looking at us in a way that lends hope to them. I don't want to let them down. I don't want to let our fans down. I don't want to, you know, I want was what this team is supposed to have. And obviously, we think it's a national championship, and there lies more pressure to win. But it's not something that, you know, like I'm not sitting here like feeling like, oh, no, I mean, you know, when you have a good team, like I know I have a good team. Like we're a really, really good team that's made up of a lot of experienced players who have been through every single thing that they could be a part of, including, you know, a pandemic year in which they didn't get a chance to participate in a NCAA tournament. So they feel that part of it. So, you know, they just, you know, sorry, they just walk in and embrace the pressure that comes with that. Sorry,
Thanks for
that's one of my neighbors is bringing over brownies because she gives us that on every road trip, and that's her.
Oh, awesome. All right, we'll go back to Leah with the next question.
Coach, so you were, you know, in the last Final Four in Dallas. I'm curious what you remember from that time in 2017 and the environment and kind of what stuck out to you from that tournament.
Dallas it will be etched in my memory forever. It was the first time that we won a national championship. I remember vividly the police escorts. I thought the Dallas Police Department was great. Enjoy seeing them motorcade us throughout the city. I remember we had a great hotel. I think it was the Magnolia. It was a great hotel. I remember our fams. I remember UConn losing because that was a big, you know, that was a huge moment in college women's basketball. I just remember a team that lost a huge part of who we were in Elena Coast to injury, and then we found a way through having two transfers that. I mean, this was before the portal was popular. They had to sit out a year, and then they were eligible in 2017, and then they found a way to embrace their roles, and then we got on the roll to win. I do remember Stockton. Like I do remember having to stay in a hotel, you know, for what seemed like a week. And our players couldn't really go anywhere because there wasn't really anything to do. And then we finally got to Dallas. The first thing we did was we went to the mall, and they just thought it was the best time. So I just thought we balanced everything perfectly to put our players at ease. And then, you know, we got the luck of the draw in that Mississippi State took down a giant that increased our chances of winning the national championship.
Thanks for the question. We'll go to David Teal next.
Dawn, Kenny Brooks was telling us earlier about taking advantage of the platform that he now has to speak on issues that matter to him. How long did it take you as you progressed from college to Olympian to the professional ranks to coaching to become comfortable in that kind of role to the point now where you're filming insurance commercials with Mike Krzyzewski?
I mean, here's the thing: when you've had the type of success that our team and our program has had over the past couple of years, you're asked different questions. You know, microphones are thrown in your mouth to, you know, to speak on things that you hadn't had the chance to speak on, because that was reserved for other people who were successful. And I think I would handle it the same way, meaning I would give them my, you know, my truth as I saw it. But you know, for me, I think when I got well into my 40s, like really my 40s, and now I'm over 50, life clears up for you. Like it gets more lean, and because you experience things, and you are, you know, you are walking in your truth as an adult, like a seasoned adult. And I always equate it to I am my mother's child. Like I am like more like my mother now than I've ever been. And she wasn't the one that really held back too much. She wore her heart on her shoulder, and I believe I do the same, but I don't I don't go out looking to start anything. If someone asks me a question, I'm going to answer it the best way that I can, the most truthful and honest as I, and the most organic way that I can. And that's how I, you know, live my life.
It's amazing how much smarter our parents get as we age, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Thanks for the question. Next, we'll go to Alan Cole. Alan? Not hearing Alan, we'll go to Amanda.
What did you think of this new regional setup, and would you advocate for the NCAA to continue it?
I mean, I felt like it was normal, meaning, you know, from a just a selfish reflection of being, I felt I actually liked it. I liked the fact that we could go to games, that games are like right here, where you can just, you know, if you had an off day, you could go watch some other teams play. The players, the student athletes had an opportunity to get out of their hotel rooms and go support other teams, and to be around basketball. And I just think the city was Greenville was very, very accommodating. I mean, it was electric. It was a great centrally located place where, you know, you could go walk, you could go see other fan bases, you could see your fan base, you could take pictures, and it was just a real great community of women's basketball enthusiasts and lovers of our game. So I thought it was great. I mean, the only thing when you have a situation like this is you don't really have enough prep time, because you only get an hour on the court. But at this point, you know, you're not having 2-3 hour practices. So I thought it was managed and organized extremely well. And I would welcome it to being like this from here on out.
Thanks for the question. Next, we'll go to Alexis Pierce.
Hey, Coach. First of all, congratulations. Coach, you talked about just the transfer portal has been huge for the advancement of teams, quicker than usual, but you also used a huge word, and you use the word culture. How do you use the transfer portal to benefit you, but not allow it to be detrimental in terms of fit?
Well, I think you can utilize it in the sense of there are a lot of prospects going into the portal that you've already recruited. So you have some relationship with them or their parents or whoever it is, their posse. You have some relationship with them. So, you know, like when Camilla Cardozo went into the portal, I'm like, yeah, we gotta go. We gotta go after. We know her. I mean, she's 6'7". We got one of her teammates on our team, our AAU teammates. So I'm like, we know her. We know Camilla. We did not know Kiara last year. So when we brought her on campus, I mean, we vetted her through the Georgia Tech coaches. Anybody that knew her, we're on the phone and we're talking to them about who she is. We talked to her parents and we brought her on campus, and you get a feel for who they are. And you got to make sure that you're not just trying to get the most talented player, because they may not mesh with your culture, and that's on us as coaches to make sure that you have to get it right, because if you don't, you'll find that some of the kids that you have on your team will jump into that portal, and then you're finding yourself not having to use the portal to actually fill the team, and that's pretty hard, especially when you have to win. You have to be successful nowadays in order for you to keep your job.
Thanks for the question. Next, we'll go to Jeremiah Holloway.
Yeah, Dawn, I know this is looking ahead a little bit, but obviously, the seniors on the team kind of have some, I guess, decisions to make sooner rather than later as far as, pro and staying and things like that. When do those conversations with them kind of start, and what does that process look like?
I met with all of our seniors, and I'm just going to let them decide when they want to disclose what they're going to do. For me, I'm planning on not having them. I have to plan on not having them. So we'll have to jump in that portal. Regardless. I mean, regardless if we have some come back or all of them leave or all of them stay, we're still in a position where we must continue to recruit just in case. But I think all of our seniors have put themselves in a position to be drafted. Whether or not they make a team, that's really not my call. I know there aren't a lot of roster spots this particular year in the WNBA. So, we are constantly feeding them with information that will help them make that decision to go or to stay. But, I'm sure they're talking to their agents and their representatives about what makes the best sense for them. And I'm not going to sway them either. I'm not going to try to convince them to come back. I think what we've done here at South Carolina is put them in a great position to be drafted. And that's our job.
Thanks for the question. Now we'll next go to DJ Scott.
Unmute yourself, DJ.
Yeah, DJ, we're not hearing you.
You were getting down though. You got a good question. I can feel it.
Yeah, we got you now.
Good morning, Coach. When you think of South Carolina team basketball, you think of a very balanced attack. You don't see many stat lines jump out at you. What's your message heading into a team like Iowa, where you have one player in Caitlin Clark that can basically take over a game? She just had a 40-point triple-double. What's the message to the team to stay within that sort of teamwork environment, not jump out and try to play a one-man show, especially in a game like the Final Four?
I don't really have to say anything to our team. I basically have been preaching all season long is let's be who we are. Let's display the habits that we've displayed all season long. Obviously, we really haven't played against a player like Caitlin and her ability to have a big game and fill up the stat sheet. So obviously, I think for us, we have to take something away. Her ability to score in bunches or ability to, distribute the basketball. She just really can't have the full tilt of what she does. Like, I mean, because, if you allow her to do that, they win every time. If she gets 40 points and 10 assists, that's pretty tough. That's pretty tough for any team to overcome, because that means everybody is getting involved, and you can't have everybody getting involved with, how well they shoot the basketball and how well she facilitates.
Thanks for the question. Got time for just maybe one or two more questions. Christina Walker, we'll come to you next.
Thanks. Coach Staley, as I'm sure you know, last year after winning the national championship, you became the first Black coach, male or female, to win multiple D1 titles. So in light of you mentioning pressure earlier, I just wanted to preface my question with that. But in terms of your players that you mentioned, the pandemic season a couple of years ago, to now, obviously you have a few players who, still might be in your program, but for this year specifically, what would you say has been, I apologize, my lights are motion censored, but what would you say is your team's biggest growth across this undefeated season?
I mean, I think the word that comes to mind is sacrifice. Like, this team has the individual sacrifice for the greater good of our team has been, great. Like, I mean, here's Aliyah Boston, had staggering numbers last year. They're, less staggering this year, because she really doesn't care. She wants to win a national championship. She did the whole national player of the year, all of that. And I do think she's a player of the year candidate. I do think she's the best player in the country for what she has to endure. And through it all, she continues to make the right basketball play for our basketball team. And she sacrificed her stats for that. And I think she's well aware of what our team needs. Like, I think she's taken the back seat to Zaya in some instances, because Zaya's having the best year of her career. Rebuild, the best year of her career. And I can go down the line and say people are having the best years of their careers. They did not have that last year. So Aliyah had the best year of her career as far as stats. But I think this year is the best year of her career because she's able to pivot. She's able to give us what we need when we need it. And this year is not, averaging a double-double. It's not what we need. If she goes out and tries to force herself into getting double-doubles, then we won't have the type of year that we're having. Like, it is history making. And we must allow ourselves to look at, who's the centerpiece in that, and give her props. So, I mean, it's full of sacrifice, not just this year, the entire, we call them the freshies, but the freshies have sacrificed individually at one stage of their career for the greater good of our team. And historically speaking, that's where your national player of the year comes from. That type of team. It may or may not, it may be different this year. I don't know. For me, do I want my players to be national player of the year? Absolutely. If Caitlin Clark is the player of the year, am I going to be mad? Absolutely not. She's a hell of a player. Like, I mean, and the stats jump off the page. So I'm not gonna down her to lift my players up, because everybody, I mean, Angel Reese, what she's doing. I mean, it's never been done in the SEC. The double-doubles, we talk about their schedule, their non-conference schedule, but those numbers increased in the meat of the season and continue to do so. So there's room for it all. I mean, Amore from Virginia Tech, Good God, like seriously. So we're talking about incredible products of our game. There, I mean, and that's just off the top of my head. Like there are, much more players who are rocking it for our game, and I just think it's a beautiful thing.
Well, thanks, Coach Staley. We do appreciate all the media for being on with us as well, and congratulations again. We look forward to seeing you in Dallas.
Thank you, Rich.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. Just note that the transcript will be available on the ASAP website. And again, thanks for everybody for joining us.